The machine that's about to replace your job isn't smarter than you. It's just cheaper. And that's been true by law since 1981. Not because AI got good, because a decision made in Washington decades ago made a human being more expensive to hire than a machine to buy. Every single year for over 4 decades before you ever walked into an interview. Here's why that should worry you more than the AI headlines do. This isn't a tech problem. It's a tax problem wearing an AI costume. And almost nobody talking about AI taking jobs is telling you the part that actually explains why it's happening right now, this fast. Take David. Kitchen table, laptop open, coffee gone cold, 9:47 p.m. He just finished a deck for his manager, one that shows how a new AI tool could do the work of 3 people on his team. He built it because he was told to. He didn't think about what it meant until he hit send. Somewhere, a CFO ran the numbers on David's team last quarter. Salary, payroll tax, healthcare, unemployment insurance versus a software license. The software won, not because it was better at the job, because the tax code made David the more expensive option before either of them typed a single word. Because somebody is getting richer from this, and it's not David. Stick with me, because once you see this mechanism, you can't unsee it. And there's a second layer underneath it that changes how you should be thinking about your own money right now in 2026. Let's slow down and look at the actual math, because this isn't a metaphor, it's policy. When a company hires David, they don't just pay his salary, they pay payroll tax on top of it. They cover a slice of his healthcare. They fund unemployment insurance. They take on liability. All of that gets taxed and stacked onto the cost of a human worker. When that same company buys a machine, software, automation, and AI subscription, none of that applies. In many cases, the purchase itself qualifies for a tax deduction. The government isn't just staying neutral on this choice, it's tilting the table. Economists have a blunt way of putting it. If you tax something, you get less of it. For over 40 years, the U.S. has been taxing labor and subsidizing capital. So it's not surprising that capital, machines, software, automation, has been quietly winning for decades. AI didn't create this dynamic, it just made it move faster. Here's the part David never considered. This isn't really an AI problem. It's a who owns what problem. The people getting richer aren't necessarily the smartest or the hardest working. They're the ones who own the machine instead of renting out their labor to operate one. Historically, when a technology automated a task, it didn't erase the worker, it changed what the worker did. Bank tellers didn't disappear when ATMs arrived. The job became something else. But that shift only worked because there was time, and because the incentives eventually favored retraining people, not just replacing them. Right now, the incentive structure doesn't reward that patience. It rewards the fastest possible substitution, because substitution is what the tax code is quietly built to encourage. So the real question isn't, will AI take David's job? It's, in a system that taxes labor and rewards capital, how does someone like David position himself on the capital side of that equation instead of only the labor side? That's not a policy question anymore. That's a personal finance question. And it's the one almost nobody in David's position is asking. So David does something most people never do. He stops asking, how do I compete with the machine, and starts asking a different question. How do I stop being exposed to a system that's rigged against me? Here's the part that connects everything. The same government that's been taxing David's labor since 1981 while subsidizing the machine that replaces him, that's the same government that sets the rules for who gets to own capital in the first place. Labor gets taxed, capital gets favored. That's not an accident of the AI moment. It's a 40-year pattern that AI just made impossible to ignore. So the real question isn't, how does David outwork the machine? It's, how does David move at least part of his financial life from the labor side of that ledger to the capital side, the side the system has been quietly favoring the whole time? That's not about picking a hot investment. It's about recognizing which side of the tax code you're standing on and deliberately shifting your weight. Every dollar David saves instead of spends, every dollar redirected from pure paycheck to paycheck living into something that appreciates, a retirement account, an index fund, equity, and anything productive, is a dollar that moves off the side of the ledger that's been losing since 1981. David isn't quitting his job. He isn't panicking. He's doing the one thing actually within his control, refusing to keep 100% of his financial life on the side of the system that's been structurally disadvantaged for 4 decades. The machine was never really the threat. The threat was staying fully exposed to the losing side of a tax code most people never bothered to read. So, who gets rich when AI takes your job? Not the machine. Machines don't get rich. It's whoever owns the capital that machine represents, and whoever positioned themselves on that side of the ledger before the shift accelerated. For over 40 years, the tax code has been sending a quiet signal about which side of that line to stand on. Most people never read it. The ones who did aren't the ones losing sleep over a layoff email. David didn't need to outcode the AI or outwork it or beat it at anything. He needed to stop being 100% exposed to the side of the system that's been losing since 1981 and start moving deliberately toward the side that isn't. That's the shift. Not fear, not resignation, just a structural read on where the incentives actually point and a decision to stand somewhere else. No noise, just alpha. If this connected some dots for you, subscribe. This is part of a series pulling apart the hidden mechanics behind AI, capital, and the economy nobody explains in plain language.